It gives me great pleasure to be here before you talking about some of the work that the Coca-Cola company does in Africa. You know, Coca-Cola certainly needs no introduction to anybody, but there are many things I think people don't know about Coca-Cola. And one that I was just reminded by my colleague David Schneider was only recently the Coca-Cola company celebrated 90 years in this very building of being listed on this stock exchange. You know, a rare honor amongst listed companies today is to be listed for so long on this stock exchange. But the Coca-Cola company is also the only company that has a business production facility in every single country on the continent, the first one having been established in 1928. So a long history, a long commitment to stay. The Coca-Cola Africa Foundation that I run was established in 2001. Just a year after the establishment of the Millennium Development Goals. And already at that time, the company felt that it was important to have this focus on these goals, because these were issues that not just affected Africa and Africans and how they live on a social level, but these were serious concerns to our own business. You know, consumers who are unable to work due to disease from HIV/AIDS, malaria, unclean water, are not consumers who are going to be sustainable in your business, in being customers in your business. And so it's important for the health of your business that these consumers are healthy, they have incomes, and that their children are going to school. All these things are important for our business, and being in every African country, certainly, it's quite important that we involve ourselves in these things. But I just want to talk about three particular areas. MDGs number 1, number 3, and number 7. Sorry, number 1, number 6, and number 7 are the primary focus areas of the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation. Eradicating extreme poverty as one of the largest private sector employers on the continent, and a distribution system that touches hundreds of thousands of people. This was an area that we felt that we could leverage by focusing primarily on methods of distribution that create employment. You know, one of the things that I'm constantly asked is, you know, with this powerful distribution system, why don't you get into distributing medicines and condoms and all sorts of other social products? And I would love to do that. We would love to be able to do that. But the reason that this distribution system is so effective, and the reason that you can find a Coca-Cola in places perhaps that you would not even find clean water and other essential items, is because everybody who touches the Coke along the way makes a buck. There is a return for carrying the Coke from one hand to the other until it gets into the hands of the consumer. And that's what creates this powerful distribution system. If you replace a case of Coke with a case of condoms or medicines, somebody's going to pay for that. And those are the kind of challenges that we have to look for, to find how we can do the same for social products and messaging that can help people at a societal level. But we are focusing on distribution methods that create employment, that we are able to use the labor that is in abundance in Africa in terms of making sure that the product gets to the consumers. The second area is HIV/AIDS and malaria. A big focus of my foundation today is creating behavior change messages for young people. Coca-Cola company has got expertise in marketing, communications, connecting, particularly with the youth. And we use this expertise along with partners, the US government, and other partners in this particular area, creating behavior change messages, you know, encouraging people to go for testing, VCT, and that sort of thing. And then finally, ensuring environmental sustainability, and particularly, you know, the goal to reduce by half the number of people without clean water in the world. This is the largest growing problem, and Africa is in fact not just going to fail to meet the Millennium Development Goal on water, on safe water. If things remain as they are, Africa is going backwards. And it's going to be worse off in 2015 with regards to clean water than it is today. So this is an area that we are completely committed to. The Coca-Cola company announced an initiative called the Replenish Africa Initiative in 2009, committed $30 million to provide safe water to 2 million people on the continent by 2015, aligned completely with the Millennium Development Goals. There are many more that I could go on, but I'll stop there because I'd like to give the other panelists a chance to speak. I'm happy to have discussions after this. From the perspective of an investor and from the perspective of an African, you know, I think what is more valuable is not a certain percentage being kept aside, but the amount of investment that is being attracted to a place like Africa. I think what is happening in Africa now is because the returns are amongst the best in the world, you're seeing the level of FDI increasing. The Coca-Cola company has got plans to invest $12 billion in Africa in the next 5 years. I think those investment decisions are what are more critical to Africa, rather than mandating that companies should put aside a fixed amount, which is noble, but may not always attract the kind of investment that is sustainable that Africa is looking for.
Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.